Many thanks for joining us here for this Facebook Live session. This is BBC Africa's Focus on Africa Facebook session with Sierra Leonean politician Kandeh Kolleh Yumkella. Now, fancy this. He left a high-flying career at the United Nations to enter politics back home as an opposition presidential contender. His CV includes 2 terms as Director General of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization and UN Under Secretary General. Impressive. And then before all of those, he had also served as Minister for Trade and Industry back home in Sierra Leone. But then his dream of leading the main opposition party in elections next March met with stiff hostility. So now he set up his own independent movement, and he's currently in London. Many thanks for joining us today, sir.
Thank you for having me in the studio.
Before we talk about your ambitions and why you want to be president of Sierra Leone, quickly, a bit of housekeeping. So in the last few days, Sierra Leone's Political Parties Registration Commission has objected to the registration of your party. What's going on? What are the objections?
No, they have received objections to the colors of the party. They've received objections to the logo of the party. And they've conveyed that information to the party officials yesterday, which was the day we were supposed to have our final certificate to be out there in the streets now.
So you don't have your certificate as we speak?
No.
You don't?
But,
okay.
but they've invited the party in for discussions on Tuesday next week to go through those issues that they've raised. But
so the objections are on the basis that one, the motorcycle in your logo wasn't acceptable, and 2, your party's choice of color. They said both these instances they were likely to confuse voters.
That is what the objectors said. So they're being a neutral party trying to bring to us the concerns of certain people. But let me just address those. They claim that the colors might confuse voters because other parties have the same colors. But if you look at the 12 existing parties today, a number of them have colors that are similar to colors the other parties have. So I give you some examples. The SLPP and the RUFP, those 2 parties both have green in their symbol. 3 parties have blue, the PLP, the PDP, and the NPD. The RUFP and the NPD also have gold. It has not confused anybody. What we did, it was very deliberate. We had a rainbow. We were looking at
all those colors.
Of colors. Because why? We don't want a dominant color. Because we want to be inclusive. And if you go to South Africa, that's the trend in South Africa. They needed to do that to show that all shades are welcome.
Quickly,
no
what
one
about the
domination.
motorcycle in your logo?
The motorcycle, they say that might represent one interest group. Well, you can argue the same, that the palm tree might represent palm tree farmers or those who tap palm wine. Yeah? So there are colors, there are symbols people have used that may belong to traders, to hawkers. We chose our symbol. It is very symbolic. This is someone riding a motorcycle taking to the people the scale of justice, because there's so much injustice in the country. On the one hand of that scale, you have a bulb, which represents enlightenment, education, probably energy, just things that will open up their horizon. On the other scale is a hoe. We want to send the values of hard work, entrepreneurship. When they say that might confuse people, I say, but wait a minute. Somebody riding a motorcycle does not resemble a palm tree. It does not resemble the red sun.
Okay,
very different.
So, Dr. Yumkella, is it your view that there's something more sinister going on than people rocking up to the commission to say we object?
I believe
on the basis of those colors.
I believe
and
so.
What would be the basis for that view?
I just pray that the commission, which I respect very much, will indeed do the job they were created for, and I'm confident.
What are you suggesting?
I know the officials there, that they will look at all of this. For example, some of the objections are anonymous. Yeah, typically when the objections, I've been there now 2 years, when the objections were called in, the objector and the other side to discuss the objections, and they usually arbitrate. But some of these objections, and they came in last minute. We've been checking.
Pardon me for butting, but when you say you pray that they'll do the job that they be mandated, you suggested some unseen hand is throwing a spanner in your work, trying to prevent you from contesting for president. Is that what you're saying?
We have been engaging with the PPRC for long, and we were there on Friday. There were no objections. We were there on Monday checking. There were no objections. My information.
Who would want to scuttle
my information is they met there, in fact, to discuss, to hand over the certificate, how they should call us in. And then somebody pulls out of the bag that, oh, by the way, there were these objections. If you're going to have such a meeting, my experience with meetings, people receive their file folders a week before, 2 days before, to review notes before they go in. But even the commissioners, my information, went in there knowing that, hey, this is D-Day, they've met all requirements, we give them their certificate.
So who would want to scuttle your ambition, Dr. Yumkella?
Well, I know that my candidature makes a lot of people scared. Yeah.
Who?
Let us tell you that if you look at the voters,